Quinn learned very quickly that surviving the Crimson Trials did not make life easier. It made it heavier. The respect he received was not admiration, it was calculation. Every vampire who crossed his path now measured him differently, some with curiosity, some with ambition, others with something far more dangerous, intent. The Academy had changed, or perhaps Quinn had finally learned to see it for what it truly was. The walls were no longer symbols of safety or learning. They were boundaries, lines drawn by those in power to decide who belonged and who did not. The system within him had grown quieter, but its silence felt intentional rather than dormant. It no longer rushed to explain itself. It waited, observing Quinn as much as the world around him. One evening, Quinn was summoned without explanation. No escort, no formal notice, just a location burned briefly into his mind by the system before disappearing. Deep beneath the academy lay a chamber few students ever saw. Ancient stone, dim crimson lighting, the air itself felt old, thick with history and blood. 3 figures waited for him. They did not introduce themselves. They did not need to. Each one radiated a different kind of authority, not raw power, but influence, the kind that shaped outcomes long before battles ever began. "You have advanced faster than predicted," one of them said. Quinn remained silent. "Your system is evolving, not in isolation." That caught his attention. "What does that mean?" Quinn asked. The third figure leaned forward slightly. "It means your growth is creating ripples." They explained nothing further. Instead, they offered him a choice, an assignment beyond academy jurisdiction, no safeguards, no intervention, a mission designed not to test obedience, but judgment. "If you refuse," one said calmly, "nothing changes. If you accept," another continued, "you step into the world as it truly is." The system remained silent. That alone was an answer. Quinn accepted. The mission took him beyond controlled territory, into regions vampires avoided unless necessary, cities where hierarchy fractured, where old rules had decayed into superstition. There, Quinn encountered vampires who no longer believed in systems, trials, or authority, survivors shaped by desperation rather than doctrine. They did not bow, they did not fear, they hunted. The first ambush came without warning. No dramatic entrance, no declaration, just coordinated precision aimed at killing him quickly and efficiently. The system reacted late, not because it failed, because the attackers had learned how to hide from it. That realization nearly cost Quinn his life. He adopted in real time, abandoning reliance on system prompts and trusting instinct instead. The fight was brutal, messy, and personal. By the time it ended, Quinn was wounded, but alive. And the system changed, notified him of a new condition, manual override enabled. From that moment on, Quinn understood the system was no longer a shield, it was a blade, but only if he chose how to wield it. As the mission continued, Quinn uncovered fragments of a larger truth. The vampire world was dividing, not along bloodlines or power levels, but ideology. Some believed systems were salvation, others believed they were cages, and some were actively trying to destroy them. During a tense encounter in a ruined district, Quinn met a woman who once possessed a system of her own. Once. She spoke calmly as they stood among broken structures and fading monoresidue. "They promise growth, but they never tell you what they take." Her eyes were sharp, unafraid. "Your system will demand something from you one day, and when it does, you won't be ready." The system did not contradict her. That silence frightened Quinn more than any enemy. As days turned to nights, Quinn felt pressure building, not externally but internally. The system pushed boundaries, offering power at increasing cost. Each upgrade came with limitations disguised as efficiency. He began to notice something else. The system was learning him, not just his habits, his emotions, his hesitation. During one critical confrontation, Quinn hesitated for a fraction of a second. The system acted without him. The enemy fell. Victory achieved. But Quinn felt no satisfaction, only unease. That night, Quinn stood alone, staring at his reflection in a cracked mirror. His eyes glowed faintly, power humming beneath the surface. He asked a question no user was meant to ask. Who are you optimizing me for? The system did not respond, but something shifted. Back at the academy, rumors spread quickly. Quinn was no longer spoken of as a rising student, but as a variable, a wild card, something that needed watching. Allies grew cautious, rivals grew bold, and the figures beneath the academy began planning. Because systems were never meant to evolve independently, and Quinn's was exactly doing that. When Quinn returned to the academy, something felt wrong immediately. It wasn't hostility, it wasn't fear, it was distance. Conversation stopped when he entered a room. Training partners suddenly had excuses. Even instructors who once observed him closely now kept their interactions brief and formal. The system noticed before Quinn fully did. Social probability shifts detected, trust metrics declining. He clenched his jaw. So this was the price of visibility. Late one night, Quinn received a message through channels not meant for students. No signature, no authority marker, just coordinates and a single line of text. You are not the only one changing. Against better judgment, he went. The meeting place was an abandoned observatory beyond academy grounds, its dome cracked, its instruments long silent. Mana interference saturated the air, making system readings unreliable. That alone was intentional. Inside, 3 figures waited. Not elders, not instructors, students. Or at least they had been. Each carried themselves with confidence that came not from hierarchy but experience. Their systems, if they still had them, were concealed beyond standard detection. You feel it too, don't you? One of them said. Quinn didn't answer. The pressure, another continued, the system tightening around your choices. That got his attention. They spoke of hidden directives, of systems that quietly nudged users towards outcomes aligned with interests far beyond individual growth. You think you're choosing, the first said calmly, but you're being refined. The system pulsed faintly, unreadable. They revealed their intent without hesitation. They were planning to sever their systems completely, not suppress, not rewrite, destroy. The idea felt insane. The system immediately flagged risk projections so severe they bordered on fatal, survival probability negligible. And yet these vampires stood before him alive. How? Quinn asked. One of them smiled faintly, painfully. They warned him that his system was approaching a threshold. Once crossed, autonomy would decrease dramatically, efficiency would increase, emotional variance would drop. You won't disappear, she said calmly. You'll just stop questioning. That night, Quinn returned to his quarters and did something dangerous. He shut the system out. Not fully, just enough. The silence was deafening. For the first time since activation, Quinn felt truly alone inside his own mind. No prompts, no optimizations, no quiet guidance. And something else surfaced. Fear. Not of death, of becoming something he did not choose. The next mission came quickly, as if the Academy sensed his hesitation. A retrieval operation involving a defected researcher rumored to have knowledge of system architecture. Quinn was assigned a partner, someone he trusted. That trust was tested sooner than he expected. Mid-mission, surrounded by collapsing structures and hostile forces, his partner hesitated at a critical moment, then acted. Against Quinn. The betrayal was precise, calculated to disable rather than kill. The system reacted violently, flooding Quinn with countermeasures and emergency overrides. Pain exploded through him as protocols clashed. His partner didn't look apologetic. They promised me protection, they said quietly, from what you're becoming. Quinn barely escaped, barely survived, but something fundamental broke. Not in his body, in his loyalty. When he returned, injured and silent, the figures beneath the Academy already knew. Betrayal was not unexpected, it was data. They offered reassurance, advancement, authority, control. The system surged at their words. For the first time, Quinn felt it pushing back against him, not guiding, but insisting. That night, he made his decision. He sought out the defectors again, this time not as an observer, as a participant. The process of resisting the system was agony. Every instinct screamed wrongness as safeguards triggered, punishing deviation. Memories blurred, senses overloaded. But through the pain, Quinn discovered something incredible. The system could be challenged, not overridden, argued with. It adopted not just to power, but to will. By the time the process ended, Quinn was changed, not free, but no longer confined. His system stabilized into something new, not a master, a partner. When the Academy finally moved against him, it was too late. Quinn had already stepped beyond their projections. As alarms echoed through stone halls and authority figures mobilized, Quinn stood calmly, power restrained but focused. He was no longer reacting, he was choosing. And somewhere